And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Eldritch Horror City in Ruins expansion. Now, this expansion here is one that is basically, it's one of their small box. I do small box and big box. The small box expansions just add one big monster, one new ancient one that you need to fight, and maybe a small mechanism. This one adds a mechanism which is pretty significant, I think, when you add it to the game, and that's destruction, blowing stuff up. Let me show you. The first thing that the Arkham expansion adds here, the Cities in Ruin, is Cities in Ruin, okay? And there's a couple things. First of all, there's a disaster deck. Now, the new monster, the boss, is going to use this, but other things will refer to this too. And first of all, I love the artwork on these. These are just nasty things that will happen. Sometimes you need to draw disaster. Sydney burned to the ground. Terrifying creatures overwhelm Arkham. Tsunami destroys Tokyo. Earthquake hits San Francisco. Every disaster movie. So these are negative things. Each investigator in London loses 5 health and 3 sanity and gets 2 madness because of explosions. So try not to be in London when that happens. And London is devastated. So sometimes they just shuts the trains down forever. These are not good things to happen. Many times this one here spawns a bunch of gates and brings out monsters. But most of them will devastate a city. So this devastates Shanghai. So when a city is devastated, it's devastated. You get rid of everything that has to do with that city and put it back in a box. You're going to put one of these devastated tokens on that city. And from now on, if you go to that city won't spawn clues. But if you go there, you draw from the devastated city thing. And these are called complex cards. That's because at the top you make a test. And then if you pass, you go to here. And if you fail, you go to here. So here's a fire that's going through what's left of the city, and you're trying to get sand and water to rescue people. And so then if you pass this, the fire goes down, you'll find an arcane object, but you might lose some health. And if you fail, the fire is getting worse and worse, and you might get an item, but then some people die in the fire and you lose sanity. So these are going to really change the game. They're going to change the layout of the game board. And like I said, the new monster brings these along with him. I should also mention that if all 9 cities are devastated, you lose the game. Great, another way to lose. So here's the new guy, Shuttermel. I just call him Shutter for short. This guy starts with Rome being devastated, and you're going to get tokens on the different spots on the Doom track. Now, when he gets to a spot with one of those tokens, you will draw a disaster. So he's going to be putting out 4 disasters at least, and possibly other ones. When he shows up, he just shows up himself, this big world render guy, although he has small worms. He's just like a giant sandworm, it feels like, and he moves around. So he's going to come out and you have to fight him. He's actually a fightable boss, I guess. The problem is that he's doing these disaster cards. If there's ever 6 or more disasters set aside, investigators lose the game. So you're probably not going to worry about all the cities being devastated. It's just pretty hard. And also these ancient Cthulhian monsters, which are no small task, are going to be popping in and busting you guys occasionally, along with a leopard man and a few other things. He's a very physical one. There's a lot of physicality, I guess. I mean, more of he's not as horrific, I guess, as he's just destructive, destroying the world, and you're going to have to go fight him physically in a lot of different ways. As with every other expansion, we bring in more cards of everything, including more of the prelude cards. In fact, one prelude card, which Apocalypse Nigh, which makes Shutter worse, or if he's not in the game, hey, it brings in the disasters. However, we also bring in some more heroes. We have Roland Banks here, the Fed, who can put aside service assets and use them. I really like this guy, but I like Ashcan Pete a lot too, because he can dig through the trash essentially to get items and trinkets and use them in the future. Also, he has a nice health there. Bob Jenkins, also nice health, who can buy things cheaper. There was already a guy who did it in the original base game, but now we have an extra person here, and he can share things with other people. And then Rita Young here, who can get a talent condition and gets an extra 1 when you roll for injury, madness, and stuff, which will probably happen. Here's the thing. every single one of these. I really like all 4 of these. Some of my favorite characters in the game have come in this set. And of course, there's other things. There's new items, and there's some new ways to deal with different things. Looking through the items, they're all pretty basic, new stuff. But a Gatling gun, which you really need against a giant worm. And of course, there's more of all the other little cards, including a new spell, Beast Within, where you can get nasty and mean. You re-roll die when you're doing a strength test. Spectral Razor, and some of these cards here. We have Attuned and Guts. But some of these cards, like Debt and Dark Pact, some of these will now cause you to draw the disaster cards when you get them, which of course you really don't want to do. So that's pretty much what is in this expansion. Okay, well, that's that. This is actually, I think, my favorite small box expansion. Now, the first time I played a small box expansion for the Eldritch Horror, I was really excited about it because it added more stuff. And more stuff was good. More cards. This one does that. Has more cards for each of the things. But I have so much of that stuff now that these little ones, I don't notice it as much. However, if you don't have an expansion, one of these little ones is really nice because it adds more things. This is, however, at least in my top 2 of the ancient ones to fight. This Shutterell or Shuttermeow or whatever, the Shutter. I really like the destruction mechanism. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like it is, and it blows up a city. That's not fun. That's kind of a pain. But I think it's neat. It has it gives the whole game more of a sense of world destruction. Oh, Paris was this happened in this city, and London is burning, and this over here, and we got to stop this guy. And also, this monster, like I said, is one where it's just like, come on, get a gun and go in and fight it. And sometimes you just want to do that. And this one feels legit, too. When you kill Cthulhu, you're kind of not supposed to. The story is he's too big and powerful. This one you should be able to kill. Like the worm comes up, we're taking him out now. And so this one has a lot of big enemies that you fight, and also is blowing up cities overall. And I just found that fun. The 4 new heroes, the more cards, are just icing on the cake. That's good. So honestly, if you already have the base game and you're going to get one expansion, I would actually recommend this one. And I'm kind of glad because I was starting to wonder, this is like the 8th expansion or whatever at this point. There's a ton of these out there. I wanted to see something different and unique with this one, and yet also be more the same. And this fits that perfectly. Has more stuff, great, and also has that destruction mechanism, which, while deadly and dangerous, is also fun to play. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!